This is Beth Ann. We do have Daniel with us. It's always, how you doing, Daniel? I was going to make fun of you for being late, but I won't. I won't.
I'm so sorry. You can chastise me for being late. It was very unfair to you, you and your listeners. I apologize.
You have to be the right, appropriately late, to make the entrance that you get, like when you have a date, the girl wants to be just a little bit late, keep the guy waiting, and so.
Well, thanks for your patience with me on this cold, snowy Friday here in Washington.
It is, but it's March 1st. It's March 1st, and, it's a special day. It's Employee Appreciation Day, the first Friday in March is. It's National Pig Day, so go have some ribs. Eat them in front of Booker. And go National Salesperson Day, Peace Corps Day, and Peanut Butter Lover Day.
Oh, boy.
And it's also the first Friday in March is World Day of Prayer, and it's World Compliment Day. So looking good there, Daniel, looking good.
I will compliment all the peanut butter lovers who are employees of mine in one fell swoop and pray together.
There you go. You got it all covered. Over your ribs. Exactly. Over your barbecued smoked ribs. What's going on in the energy world?
Well,
it's been an active week, hasn't it?
It has, and today has been a crazy day, but your listeners, I'm sure, are well aware that number 12 has just entered the race as a Democrat candidate for president in 2020, and that is Governor Jay Inslee. And the only thing I'd like to point out, besides being a rabid leftist and a believer in the Green New Deal, Jay Inslee was the former governor of Washington. I think he still is the governor of Washington State. In 2014, he put a cap-and-trade bill on a statewide referendum, got destroyed. In 2017, he put a carbon tax on the referendum in Washington, got destroyed. Last year, he put carbon tax again, this time with several $1 million from Tom Steyer, got destroyed. And what is he running on? I am going to be the president who fights climate change. So you want to say to Governor Inslee, if your own crazy state of Washington, and really I shouldn't call it a crazy state, it's got one crazy city and a lot of wonderful people in the rest of the state.
It's a beautiful state.
It is. But if your state could not vote thrice on radical environmental policies, what do you think you're going to do as president? Are you just going to mandate it in? And that's been some of the criticism with President Trump using the wall as an emergency, saying, boy, you get a Governor Inslee and he says climate change is a national emergency, and now we have a carbon tax.
Well, they'll say that's okay, though, because they believe that is a national – they don't really believe it. I'm convinced they don't really believe it.
I heard people talking about that the other day on the media, whether or not they believe these things or they just think it's politically expedient. And I am torn. I sometimes I don't think they believe it. I just think it's convenient. But it is very, very odd that people could believe some of these things.
Well, now, I think there are certain people that have bought into this and do believe it. But these politicians, I don't believe for a second they believe it. I believe they're using it for more taxation, for more control over the people. And if they truly believed it, and you and I have talked about this before, they'd be living it. And they're not.
That's true. That's the great point. They don't ever live in their personal life what they want government to mandate the rest of us do.
Exactly.
But I think the Green New Deal, I wrote an op-ed I was very proud that got published in FoxNews.com on Monday, saying how the Green New Deal was President Trump's best talking point, and he didn't even come up with it. They gave it to him. And I truly believe that. The Green New Deal has become so radical. News broke yesterday that in the Democrat caucus in the House, that's just when just the House members who are Democrats all get together in private to powwow, the left, the extreme left freshmen led by Ocasio-Cortez were threatening the moderate Democrats, saying,
yes,
if you vote this way, we are going to find a primary person and we will fund it and we will take you out. And it was about gun issues. It was about ICE issues and Green New Deal issues. And my point in my op-ed, this is the best thing that happened to the Trump campaign because it is so radical that moderates are never going to subscribe.
They're turning on themselves. What about this big hearing or whatever that they had that all about the environment that they didn't even bother to show up for. I thought that's proof in and of itself that they don't believe it.
And the great Congressman Louis Gohmert from Texas, he was the ranking member, and he called a point of order and said, we're going to have a vote right now to cancel the meeting. It was wonderful. It's online. And they voted. There was one Democrat and 4 Republicans, and they voted to cancel the hearing. And the ayes prevailed, and they canceled the hearing. Exactly. So if they care so deeply about this, and they
show up,
they don't even show up to the hearing.
Show up to the dance. Come on, put your dancing shoes and show up. That was crazy. But it is proof. It is proof that they don't really believe what they're trying to legislate to everyone else.
I agree with you, and I am curious to see what happens on climate issues, because now if you are Cory Booker or Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren or the 12 of them who are running, you have to start finding a way to differentiate yourself from the others. And I am curious to see how they do that. Right now it's been very cordial, but they are having a debate in 2 months. And when they are all on stage fighting, they're going to start attacking each other pretty viciously. And I just want to see how crazy they can become to differentiate themselves from one another.
That will be interesting. And you know they're going to have to turn on one another, and that's going to get ugly. Because they're not nice.
No, they're not. And I think the American people are going to be watching, and the voters are going to be watching.
What are all those women gonna say to Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders? The two old white guys. What are they going to say to them?
and Hillary Clinton still hasn't decided.
That's amazing.
There's still a lot of heavy hitters. What was his name? Beth, the former Attorney General for Obama, Eric Holder, is still considering an option.
Yes.
There's still lots of names to weigh in on, and so it's going to be very interesting. But on the climate issues, the point of my op-ed is that if you are Ohio or Pennsylvania, what they call like those swing states, a lot of them have huge energy populations, and I do not see Missouri. I do not see how they are going to come on board with Kamala Harris when they didn't come on board for Hillary Clinton. If you work in the coal industry or your livelihood depends upon the energy industry. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, you never know about Missouri, that show me state. You never know what they're going to do. Well, you show me, and then I'll see what I'm up to. You know, got to prove it. I wish most of them were like that because, you know, to me, the proof is getting more obvious all the time. You know, even in this, I've kind of nicknamed it the Greed New Deal. It's kind of greedy. The greedy Green New Deal. And in all this that she wants the United States to do, if the world's going to end in 12 years, are we the only ones that are going to save it? We who have the cleanest air and the best, cleanest streams and rivers. I mean, not that they can't be improved, but are we alone going to save the world in 12 years if we spend trillions of dollars? What about the rest of them, like China?
And if we allow China and India and Malaysia and Indonesia to continue to pollute, and not just pollute because they have coal factories, which are not even clean coal factories. They have no oversight and inspection on their coal plants, but they just pour their waste into the ocean, and it all drifts east and hits the coasts of California in time. So you're right. We can't save the world ourselves. If they're not on board, then that shows you that this is all
Eat, drink, and be merry, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding. But, we both know we need to be good stewards. But I did not see your op-ed. I went to your website to get some of your latest articles, but I missed that one, so I'll have to go grab that off Fox, I guess.
Well, thank you. I'll send it to you right now.
That'd be great. I appreciate it, and I'll post it out there. Thank you. Appreciate it, Daniel. You have a great weekend, all right?
Thank you, and happy March.
Happy March. We're going to march into March, and when we march out, it's going to be spring, right? It's going to be spring. 877